Hello, guys. If you've made it to part four, let's clap for you first. Wow, you have survived me for three classes already. Lovely. Okay, so now let's move on towards demography. Before we go to demography, I love to do recap. So recap. Okay, if you're bored, just skip. Okay. So what is the recap? Part one, we talked about the size of South America, the shape of South America, the countries of South America, the territories of South America, the regions of South America, where towards the west we have the Andes mountain range, towards the east we have the three highlands, we have the rivers, we have the basins, to the south we have the um, archipelagos, the island, the Strait of Magellan. This is all we talked in part one, and then part two, we talked about the Amazon rainforest and the river itself too. It's the largest in the world. Okay, and then we talked about how it got its name, who discovered the region. Then we talked about the tribe as well, Tapuya, sorry. Then what else did we talk about? Yes, we talked about why is it also called as the lungs of the planet. The importance that it has in terms of biodiversity, rivers, then its branches and the important forest within it called as selvas. So please remember, Amazon is also called selvas in a way. Okay, so these points. Just give me a minute, one second. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so where was I? Yes. What is the important forest? We call it as selvas. Now, again, what is selvas actually? Let me just tell it to you. It is actually a Spanish term for the word jungle. So instead of calling it Amazon, some people also call it as selvas. It's like a jungle, okay? So these two you can use interchangeably, it's all okay. So yeah, we saw how Selvas is important. Then moving on, next we talked about the boiling river that can kill anything that touches. That was part two. Then we moved on to part three, where we talked about climate, tropical climate, the latitudes that pass through South America, then the natural resources in terms of the soil, that is red soil, volcanic soil. Then we talked about the minerals that are found in in the country of Venezuela, which is the only country besides the West Asian countries that is a part of OPEC. Then we talked about how Colombia is also stocking up on its petroleum and exporting it. Then we moved on towards water. We saw how the Amazon is the most important, but there are other sources of water as well in terms of rivers. And lastly, we even talked about, I think, what else did we do? Oh, wildlife. Yes, so the wildlife again gets contributed majorly by the Amazon. This was all we had in the recap. Now let's move on to part four, that is demography. Before we move ahead, what does the word demography mean? It means the study of people. How are the kind of people that reside in a particular place, what age group they are, what gender they are, everything. Basically, statistics about how the people are, who they are, where are they from. All of these type of questions are answered by demographers. Okay, people who study demography. Let's see. So the population of South America, just like North America, guys, okay, is divided into three parts. That is the native Indians or the Americans. Number two, it's the Europeans who came there for the purpose of colonization, exploration, stuff like that. And the third one is the Africans who were brought there by the Atlantic slave trade. Okay, the first one, let's dive into it, is the native Indians or the Amerindians. Now, how did the native Indians or the Amerindians migrate? We all know the story, guys. Yes, they came from the Bering Strait. This is, assume, Alaska, and this is we have North America. From Alaska, they came during the Ice Age period. From the Bering Strait, migrated towards North America. In North America, where did they first go? They went to Mexico and Latin America, settled there, and they created the first ever civilization called as the Mayas, then the Aztecs, and then later on, the last but not the least, the Incas in South America. And obviously, there are some Asian tribes as well that we call as Inuit that settled towards Alaska, also famously called as Eskimo. But I told you it's considered an insult word, so don't use it. Okay, so this is the story of the native Indians. Now, there is an interesting language that most of them also speak in South America, okay, and that is called as Quechua. So you use the word catch in the first, Quechua, okay, like that to remember it. But it's also called as Runa Simi, I think, yes. It's also called as Runa Simi, that is basically the people's language. Okay, so there are two words again over here. One is the word kachua, and the other one is runa simi. Okay, one word that I've used from here is Nana, because we have a lot of students who have that name. And what does it mean? My beloved sister. Okay, so the next time you see somebody who is like a friend of yours, but yeah, just don't say it to a girlfriend, because then it will change everything. Okay, so yeah, this is there. But let's go back for a minute and let me tell you something interesting about the native Indians. So the native Indians, which are in North America, are actually very different from South America. Reasons being, number one, obviously the time that they migrated and created civilization was different. Number two, also because the countries that colonized them, ironically, okay, had a lot of influence in how they later on adapted and changed their culture. Number three is climatic conditions as well influence the way they are. And number four, within the tribes itself, they have unique characteristics, so all of them are different. Their way of dressing is different, their way of eating is different. Based on the geography, everything gets determined. Okay, we already saw how some tribes in the Amazon eat a monkey. If you remember, I showed it to you in class, right? So why are they eating monkeys? Because it's available in that region, so they are eating that. They're making the best of what is available for them. Okay, now so which country, if you have this question, okay, which country was very deeply connected with the Inca civilization? The answer would be Peru. Okay, Peru is where we find a lot of relics also from the Inca civilization. So that is one as well. Okay, now let's see. Number two, Europeans. We know why Europeans came here. They came here for the purpose of colonization or for the purpose of exploration. In terms of Portugal, we at least know what is the reason. Portuguese came there because of gold. They wanted to search gold. In fact, let me tell you, the Portuguese were also the first to come to South America, and not just South America, also in Africa, guys. Yes. Why? Because at that time, actually, Africa had a lot of different types of empires. The Ghana Empire, the great uh, I have forgotten, Zimbabwe Empire, something like that. But yes, Mali Empire. After the Mali Empire, also they had many more empires. The Song Dynasty, Song Empire, I think. If I'm not saying it wrong, I'm not sure if it's Song or which one. But yes, so these dynasties, they in turn too were very famous because they used to trade within Africa itself, what is called as gold. Okay, so the Portuguese were interested to capture gold from Africa also, because look at the geography itself. Okay, Portuguese, if you remember where they are, they're from Portugal, and if you know, this is the map of Europe. Okay, imagine this is Europe. They are on the edge, guys. They are on the extreme edge. Okay, for you guys it's this side. They're on the extreme edge, and this side we have, right below it, we have we have Africa. Okay, which is separated by the Strait of Gibraltar, and to the other side right here we have what is called as South America. So for the Portuguese, it was actually geographically very easy, the proximity given, to reach both these continents, and that is why they went around in search of gold in both of these continents. Okay, number three, guys, we have Africans now. As you know, why were they brought? They were brought by the Atlantic slave trade. Very sad, but this is a harsh reality uh, of our past. They were bought for slavery. Now, what type of slavery were they brought in for? Very important to understand the nature of it as well. They were bought for working into big plantations and mines of the Europeans who were lacking laborers. Now, look at this. This also tells us the mindset of the Europeans at that time. I had told you they used to use the word barbaric, uncultured for the Africans, right? But at the same time, for themselves, they thought they are all mighty and high. So they never wanted to do any type of work that was very, you could say, menial in nature, or like blue collar jobs. They didn't want to really dwell into that. So what they did was they thought that, oh, the Africans are here, they can be utilized for that. And this is how the entire process of slavery started as well, where they thought, okay, they are lower people than us, inferior in some way, so we can utilize them for inferior work as well. Okay, so this is a mentality that they had then. But yeah, this does not mean that we judge all Europeans around us. This was a thing of the past. Okay. Now let's look at the mixed race that have emerged. So in North America, if you remember, we had two types of mixed race. When a native Indian gets married to an European, the offspring, the child is called as mestizo. And when a native Indian gets married to an African, the offspring was called as what? Zambo. Very good. Now, what happened in South America was the Incas were there, okay, but at the same time, we were seeing a lot of mixed breed between which two types of people, Europeans and Africans, okay. So what was happening is, most of the Africans were sometimes also used as concubines, okay. This is a story that I had told you in the continent of Africa as well. And some of them obviously underwent unwanted pregnancy. At that time, contraceptives were not a big thing as compared to today. But so yeah, there were a lot of African women who were sexually exploited, you could say, or who underwent unwanted pregnancies as well. As a result of which they had their offsprings, and these offsprings were called as mulattoes. What are mulattoes? Where when one parent is um, and African, and the other parent is a European. That is what a mulatto is called as. Okay, but these words again, let me tell you, these words Zambo, Mestizo, mulattoes, we do not nowadays use them because we don't know. You know, for some people, especially the Africans, the word mulattoes comes from a place of colonization, a place of slavery. So I don't think they would be very okay with us using this word. But I'm just teaching you this for the purpose of understanding. Okay, the best is to not ask somebody, oh, are you a mulatto? Then no, that's not the way. Let them uh, introduce themselves. Okay, today we identify ourselves more with nationality than with these type of words, mixed race. Okay, now let's look at the demography. Very interesting. South America is an interesting place. Why? Because the average age over here is 75. Okay. And out of that 75, we see that 71 is for males and 77 for females. Now, why is it that the females outlive male? I had asked you to do a research in class, if you remember. Yes, it is because of our hormones that we live longer. So, yes, guys, I'm going to live longer than all of you. Yes. Wow, wow. Okay, now with this we are done also with part 4. I will see you in part 5 where we talk about the history of South America. Till then, bye bye.